Hello, I'm Robert, and you're welcome here in my busy little shop. On today's episode of What's on My Workbench, I thought I would bring you by what I think is probably one of the prettiest booths. Don't tell some of the other people here I said that. But what I think is the prettiest booths at the Pendleton Leather Show. And if you've been following along, I purchased one of Shaun's knives this last, I guess that was February in Prescott, Arizona. And I thought maybe I'd give you guys all a chance to see this collection of knives. I'll do a pan through here and I'll put it in towards the end so you can see all of the knives. But I wanted to talk a little bit about Shaun and give him an opportunity to let you guys know, what he's all about. So I'm gonna turn it over to him. I'm gonna step behind the camera, get out of his way here so that I'm not blocking these pretty knives behind me here. Right. Shaun, did you just wake up one day and like, I have to make knives? How did you get into the knife making world? Where did that start?
Well, first of all, I was a shoer, a farrier for 33 years. And I was a very competitive shoer. That means I did a lot of blacksmithing competitions and shoeing competitions. So I had a great deal of skill in the blacksmithing community. So it got to be one day where I just couldn't shoe horses anymore because of my back. So at this point I had to figure out what to do for a living for my family. And so I was always kind of moving and very conscious of my retirement. So I moved on to start doing stuff with my hands as far as making things. Where was my niche at? And then I started working with leather. And then I started like, well, I need a knife. So being that I was a blacksmith, I made my own first knife. And then I made that out of Damascus because I was showing off a little bit. And then next thing I know, there's a niche for that. I didn't know that. And then next thing I know, I'm just kind of talking about it and everything. Everybody's like, hey, you make Damascus knives? And then next thing you know, this is what it turns into. This is my retirement.
When I'm standing here and looking, I see a dozen, I would say, different design styles on the knives.
Yes.
How do you get to this point? When I think of large corporations out there that make knives for the leather industry or other industries, they're kind of like a battleship, and they're steaming in one direction and aren't very agile, I would say, to making changes. When I see a knife here that I don't think was here in February.
No. Absolutely not. There's a couple of them.
Let's show us.
Okay, so like this one here, actually Don Gonzalez approached me.
Let me see it.
About making his only knife he uses on a table in a shop is that knife. He doesn't use round knives. He doesn't use any. That is what he was taught with, and so that's all he uses. And so he approached me with his model and asked me if I would make it for him. And next thing you know, me and him collaborated, got to be pretty good friends, and I made him a knife, sent it to him, and he loved it. And I told him, hey, you mind if I just kind of run on it? And he goes, no, go for it. So this is what it is. So this is model number 3, because we had to get this taper absolutely right, because of the radius cuts and everything. So, but that's the final model right there. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's just a beautiful knife. And I tell you what, I wonder, I'm pretty sure it's him that I saw a video a couple years ago where he took the knife and used a mallet and drove it into the bench top to then work with it. I'm like, I wonder, is he doing that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'd like to see that.
Yeah, that's I would have a hard time doing that.
He could do it. It's full tang. He can do it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I can see that it's
That'd be the only real difference between his original and mine, is that mine's full tang.
Okay. So
full tang build.
Yeah. So, it's beautiful. Where do you source your materials? I've got a lot of people that are proud of their country.
Yes.
How many of these knives do you farm out to have somebody else make, and where do your materials come from?
Okay, so my materials come from a steel maker out in New Jersey. So all the steels are here U.S. made. As far as the handle material, that's all out of Maine. That's when I use the Dymalux. The Dymalux is a laminated handle material, and they come in all sorts of colors and everything else that you can think of, but they are out of Maine. The rivet material will be the only question I have. So it'd be the brass, You know, I can't say 100% that that's U.S. made, but I do get it from a supplier here in California.
Yeah.
So,
And then,
other than that,
once you develop the knife, you send it off to China to have them make 100 of them. So
yeah. Well, they're trying. They're trying. I give them A for effort. So it's they're trying.
Yeah. So, who helps you make these knives?
Me, myself, and I.
So, every one of these knives, I mean, you know every one of them.
100%. They're like my children. So I love seeing them again. If people want repairs on them or anything like that, that's the way I analyze my own work and say, hey, that's a really crappy knife. I'm going to send him a brand new one. You know, so that's what I do. So if someone's not happy with my knife, I just say return it. If I can't give you something better, then I'll return your money.
Okay.
So
what kind of warranty do you have on your knives? Or do they need a warranty?
I don't really have a warranty system. I basically say, you know, most of the guys, they send me back a worn out knife.
Yeah, okay.
You know, they just want a new one.
Okay.
So most of the time I haven't had any issues so far.
I mean, they're a hard steel. And
Yes.
As a person with a little bit of blacksmith experience myself,
Yes.
there's that balance between hard,
Hard.
it holds an edge,
Yes.
but yet flexible enough
We can
because
still sharpen it.
you can
Yeah.
still sharpen it, or flexible enough to where you don't break it because you get it into a little bit of a bind.
Exactly. So what I use mostly on the non-Damascus is a 52-100, and I actually referred to a master bladesmith out of Idaho. He makes nothing but kitchen knives, and he uses nothing. Well, let's just say he uses a lot of 52-100, and he's got 25 years experience behind him. And I actually called him up and said, "What's your heat treat recipe for these?" And he gave me his specific heat treat for it.
Okay. The heat treat's extremely important. You can
Extremely
make a beautiful
important.
handle and
Yes.
put it on mild steel.
Absolutely.
And you may have a butter knife, but
Right.
you don't have a leather knife. So
Right.
it's really good.
Yeah, but so I want to know how to make the best knife, especially for the particular steel, and know it's tough. You know, if someone drops it on the ground, I want to know that the point's going to hold up to a drop on the ground. Not all the time, but sometimes it does. So.
No, I appreciate that. Well, I
Yeah.
appreciate you taking time today. Is
Yeah.
there anything else that you want to touch on before we wrap up here?
No, I think that's a good general.
Well, then what I'll do is I'm going to scan through and
Sure.
tease everybody on YouTube
Absolutely.
with these beautiful knives.